This is Ken Pyle with VOD TV. We're at Parks Associates Connections Conference at CTIA. We're with Amit Bagga of Comcast. You were on a panel talking about search and discovery. What was, one takeaway? What was one of the things you discovered from that panel?
Yeah, one thing I discovered was that there's a lot of companies that are working in this space, both big and large. I mean, large and small, and it's amazing to see, the presence of some of these small companies that are all trying to make it easier for people to discover content.
And it's a complex problem making something simple. And Comcast has been involved in this for a long time. You were mentioning your initiative, and why don't you talk to that for a moment?
Yeah, Comcast has been involved in this initiative for the last 6 to 7 years. As they were growing their on-demand library back in starting in the mid-2000s, they quickly realized that it's going to be very difficult for people to find what they're looking for. And as the library grew, this problem became worse. And what they did was they, as a way to jumpstart the efforts in this space, in the search and discovery space, they acquired a startup in Washington, D.C. called StreamSage, which was in the video search business. And they basically acquired the startup and grew this into their search and discovery division, which is right now, this entire division is about 200 people. And so there's a significant initiative at Comcast in terms of making it easier for people to find the content that they would like to watch.
And Comcast has the largest footprint, right, in the United States of viewers out there, and so a lot of experience doing it. What do you find the biggest challenge in simplifying that experience?
The biggest challenge is, again, making it a lean. So TV watching is a lean back experience, but a lot of the search and discovery can be seen as a lean forward experience. And the biggest challenge is maintaining the lean back mode, because when they come to watch TV, they just want TV to come to them, the content to come to them, without putting in a lot of effort in terms of discovering it. So the biggest challenge is that balancing act. How do you maintain the lean back experience of watching TV while making it easier for people to find the content that they're interested in?
You've had legacy set-top boxes. You have new set-top boxes. Have you seen a difference as you've been able to evolve the actual client itself?
Oh, it's a huge difference. In fact, in the panel, I'll be talking about this new X1 box that Comcast launched last year, and where they have completely revamped the UI. They made it easier to basically make upgrades to the UI, because the entire UI is rendered from the cloud. But they've also made content discovery a central theme there. And search is pretty much ubiquitous across every screen. It's very easy to get recommendations every time you go and get an entity page on a particular program or asset. Recommendations are part of that screen, front and center. And the next generation of this UI, which Comcast is working on currently and will announce next month as part of the NCTA National Cable Conference, is the X2 UI, where personalization is the big theme that basically is part of every screen.
One of the things, I've got the X1 box at home, and my favorite feature of it is not video, it's the Pandora application. Be able to have the music come to me that I like. Are you looking at doing kind of a Pandora for video type thing?
We have thought about it, and we've thought about personalized channels, and this is things that we thought about. There's no concrete product that is going out in the near term, but Pandora is one of the most widely used apps on the X1 box. And the other thing that we're trying to do with the X1 box is simplifying how the users can interact with the box itself. So you may have noticed on your X1 box, there's when you're trying to input a search term, there's this predictive text,
right,
and that makes it a lot easier for people to put in. And it's a learning curve, but the learning curve in our experience has been very short, and people get used to it pretty quickly, and it's a lot easier to input your query into the box, unlike the legacy boxes. And the second thing we have done with the X1 box is we have integrated voice with the X1 companion remote on your iPhone, on your iPad. So you can basically use your voice to search for content and discover content that you're interested in.
Unfortunately, I have an Android, but Android device. So, but having said that, it leads to my next question, which was going to be the idea of the interaction between other screens and the big screen for search and discovery.
Yeah, that is. I don't know how many people know, but Comcast invested in a company called ZBox. It was 6 to 8 months ago, I think, that was announced as a press release. And so ZBox is one of the second screen apps, which is pretty popular in Europe. We are trying to basically see what kind of experience we can get out of them. ZBox is the only third-party vendor which we have given access to APIs to, for example, to change channels. So you can go into the second screen app. You get you're interested in a particular program. You find out stuff about the program, including what people are saying in the social media space. You can then tune to the program from the ZBox app itself. So there are several initiatives that are ongoing basically within Comcast, and I think next year might be one where we come up with a more integrated app that might help the users discover content.
Well, and I suppose some of that is using content identification technologies to identify the content that's being watched and so forth.
That's right, ACI technologies, yes.
Yeah. And so it sounds like there's a lot of opportunity still to improve the experience for the end consumer.
Yes, the opportunity is huge, and nobody. While a lot of companies are working on this, nobody has nailed the experience yet. I don't know what Apple is going to come up with if they have a better experience. But as of now, nobody has nailed it. It's an area that's ripe for research, and we are working very actively in this space.
From a personalization standpoint, is that kind of also one of the next frontiers as far as what I see and what I get, search and discovery for me is different than, say, for my son?
That's right, and Netflix was the first one to really embrace personalization in a big way, and they've done a good job. They certainly have. There's some negatives with the experience they provide. One of it is that you have one account, and so it's usually if anybody has kids, then the entire screen is dominated by kid shows because of the consumption habits of kids, which they watch a lot and they watch it over and over again. So one of the things with personalization is how do you personalize for yourself and not at the account level, and we are looking at personalization in a big way, and it's certainly going to be a big theme that's going to be part of our X2 platform.
And again, I can imagine some of that's going to get back to that personal device and so forth in the second screen. So that's the big question: is how do you find it is educating the customers that this is available, and then they start using it?
With X2, it's going to be front and center. It's going to be part of any sort of search and discovery experience in X2. So it'll be pretty obvious to the user that this is going to be this is personalized to them. Mm-hmm. The challenge, I'll get to the challenge in a second, but there will be reasons. So for search, we're going to probably personalize the relevance ordering for the search. Mm-hmm. For browse, which is you go and look at the menus, we will be giving reasons there. Because you watched okay. X.
You really present it to them versus having to pull it.
That's right. You're presenting it to them, and you're giving the reason why certain things are being presented to them. And certain menu types are going to be, crime thrillers are being presented to you because you watch, program X, Y, and Z. And then the same thing with the browse and recommendations. It's the reasons are given to them. Now, I said I would come back to...
well, the whole idea of customer education in terms of knowing to pick up that smartphone to look for content or, to interact with it, as an example. Yeah,
that's still, I think people are still getting used to it. It doesn't come naturally to people. The remote is the more natural thing, right? And we haven't, while we are putting voice on the remote as a way of as a way of interacting with the set-top box, in terms of personalization, it's not clear currently how we can do that with the remote. The other challenge with personalization, is at least on the TV, as opposed to Netflix, is TV is you often watch it with other people. It's rare that you're watching. I mean, it happens when you're watching by yourself, but you're also watching with others.
Sure.
And the question is, how do you personalize for a bunch of people? And that's something that we are actively working on currently, because that if we can crack that nut, I think we can pretty much nail the experience in a nice way.
Well, it sounds like you have your work cut out for you. You're doing great things.
Yeah, it's a very interesting area to work in, and we are really enjoying working in the space, and we are hoping to come up with some new and exciting products over the next year.
Well, super, Amit. Appreciate your time with us.
Thank you.